Hey, what's up, guys? And unfortunately, today is going to be the final time you hear me say, what if Naruto joined the Akatsuki? Because today is a final episode. I hope that you have enjoyed this series so far. If you're new and you haven't yet checked it out, go across the playlist and enjoy it. And thank you for all of your help and your support, guys. And comment down below and tell me what you think of this series and if you enjoyed. And go ahead and check out the new series that I posted. What if Naruto was taken by Orochimaru? So go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And go on ahead and check out What If Tsunade Was Naruto's Mother over on Anime King, guys. I post a new episode of that. And if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button on Anime King and Anime King 2 and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your support and help. And yeah, let's get straight into this final episode. So, to do a bit of recap from the last part, Naruto went inside of the Gedo statue as he then emerged in his new form, shocking the hell out of everyone. As Tsunade and the troops, they all stopped fighting as Naruto told them that he wanted one-on-one time with the Uchihas and for Tsunade and her troops to surrender and he won't kill them. As Tsunade break down, seeing no way they could defeat Naruto now, he's a reincarnation of the Sage of the Sixth Path, as he absorbed all of the tail beasts inside of him. Naruto then faced off against Sasuke and Obito. Both of them using their Susanoo, they were no match for Naruto, as his power was unlike anything they have seen before. Itachi then joined the battle after awakening his Mangekyou Sharingan. As the three Susanoos face off against Naruto, Naruto then got serious as he destroyed Obito. Obito entered his dimension as Naruto released a Bichu bomb inside of there, as everything exploded with Obito. Naruto then beat down Itachi, as he then did the Edo Tensei and brought three coffins, which was Mikato, Fukaku, and Sakura, shocking Sasuke as he let them fight the Uchihas. In the end, Sasuke watched Itachi died. As Naruto snapped his finger and Mikato and Fukaku disappeared, Sakura then grabbed onto Sasuke as Naruto stood there and plunged a sword right through her back, piercing through his heart. As Sakura told Naruto that she felt sorry for him, now that he turned himself into this monster, he will not die. He will just stay here and live a miserable life. And even if he thought he won, he didn't. But Naruto snapped his finger and erased her. Meanwhile, Tsunade and the others were put into shackles as Tsunade saw Hinata hug Konan and Konan asked where Naruto was, as a thought came to Tsunade's head. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. An hour has passed since Naruto killed the three Uchihas. After what it seems like endless brawl of fire, explosion, and dark chakra, Hinata and Konan spotted the godly figure descending from the Hokage monument. Naruto Shinobis has evacuated all the villagers and bring them into the main entrance of the village and told them all to bow to their new god. Many of them cursed, but when they felt his power, they got to their knees. As Naruto descended down, Hinata rushed over to him as she jumped into his arms as she started kissing him. "I love you, Naruto," she said. "I love you too," he said. "Is it finally over? Is everything over?" she asked. He nodded slightly as he turned to Konan. "There is still other cities to expand our control to. But for now, yes." Konan grinned as she gave Naruto a hug. "Nagato would be proud," she said, as she smiled. "I have decided to name our son after his father. Nagato will live on with us," she said. Hinata smiled. "So I get to be an aunt then." Naruto then turned to Shigetsu. "Casualties. Who's left?" Naruto said. Shigetsu then looked over. 65% of your army has perished. Orochimaru was slain by Itachi. No casualty of the swordsman. but that was to be expected. You did pay for the highest quality of mercenaries after all. Naruto nodded. The numbers could have been worse. I am sorry to hear about Orochimaru passing. Was he sealed in Itachi's blade? Suigetsu shrugged. Something tells me that he would have a backup for something like that. But at least we could hope. And Sasori? Naruto asked. Catch, said Suigetsu as he threw Naruto a sealed box. What is this? As he then inspected more. Oh. That cheeky bastard, said Naruto. Who the hell are you calling a bastard? Said a voice from the box. Don't worry, Sasori. We will find you a body soon enough, said Naruto. Sometime later, Naruto, Hinata, Konan, Suigetsu, Karin, and Sasori in a replaced body stood in front of a large crowd with the surrender shinobi, the villagers, as Naruto ninjas were around them, such as the monk, the Hinata ninjas, and the Hinaso ninjas, and the swordsman, keeping close guard in case anyone wanted to try anything. As Naruto walked on the podium, as many of the villagers trembled in fear at the new god, many of them had thrown rotten fruits and all things at him to rush him out of the village, and now they are scared. He then speak loud. The Uchiha clan is no more. The Uzumaki clan has risen from the ashes. My new empire will stretch across the world like sunlight. You all have the privilege of being a part of this new world. Many of your family members has died. Why? The cage has feed off of their death. They wage war against other lands. They fight for jutsu that should never be open. They wage war and call it democracy. I am the new sage of Six Path Reborn. I will usher a new path, a new age to those who want it. For too long have you died and bleed for your cage. I propose a world united under one banner. No cage, no war, he shouted louder as his words started to reach some of the villagers. Who ordered you to fight today? Could all of this been avoided? Yes. But your leader wanted to clutch the money and power for as long as they could. Danzo, one of your very own elders, were corrupted with pure corruption. What make you think that your Hokage is any different? You all have been living lies. Now you see the truth. I have shown you the truth. I hereby reinstate all Leaf Shinobis as Shinobis of the Uzumaki clan. You can still live your life of honor and justice, but now you will see clearly. As many of the Shinobis stood up, clapping their hands as they were transfixed by Naruto's word. As Naruto raised his hands, I will rebuild the Uzumaki village, and I will be staying there, and Konoha will be my ally, and we need a new ruler for this village, and I appoint Hanabi Hyuga. The Hyugas were always meant to rule this village, and if we work together, the land of fire will prosper. As for the Rain Village, I appoint Konan Uzumaki as a new leader over the Rain Village. We must take back the lands and renew it as it once was. The hidden rain will also prosper, he roared, as the rain ninja started to clap. As Hinata smiled, as she also had some big news to tell Naruto, but it could wait, as she looked over at her sister Hanabi as the both of them talked things out, and she's going to be in control of Konoha now, so her sister didn't have any more resentment towards her. As Naruto then looked out as he saw Tsunade, Hinata was beside Naruto, as Tsunade had a cut in her stomach. The diamond on her forehead seemed to be going dull, as she looked at the both of them with a glare. There is one thing every Hokage is taught when they accept the role, said Tsunade. Naruto smirked. What are you going to do, Granny? It is over. You lost, he said. She shook her head. Maybe so, but you will never win. I will make sure that I take you down. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, what are you talking about? But he couldn't get to finish that. Tsunade slammed her hands together. Reaper Death Seal, she said, as a white smoke came from her chest. as a Shinigami appeared, as Tsunade's life force was being drained out, as chains shot from the Shinigami as they wrapped around Naruto, but he stood tall. I defy all jutsu. Nothing can work against me. I am immortal, he said. Tsunade chuckled. I was not aiming for you, she said. What? Said Naruto. As Naruto turned to see the chains wrapped around Hinata, even though they were not affecting him, they were her. As you remember what Sakura said, I am just sorry that you're going to suffer from now on. You chose this path. As the chains ripped off of Naruto as he rushed towards Hinata, as he tried to break the chains off of her, but they wouldn't budge. He just crushed the ones on him, and he could crush buildings and pulverize mountains. Why weren't these chains breaking? As the answer was in the back of his mind, death was beyond even a sage like himself. As the chains were placed on him to just keep him at bay for a split second so they could really wrap around Hinata. As Naruto created a Rasengan and slammed it against the chains, but not a chip or a scrape. As Konan started to sweat, if Naruto cannot get the chains off, then no one can. As Hinata was crying out for Naruto to help her, as the rib cage of the Shinigami opened up, like the gateway of the underworld. As Hinata was being pulled inside. As Naruto was crying, tears going down his cheek as he clawed at the chains. As Hinata feel her life leaving her. Naruto, thank you for loving me, she said, as tears leaked from her eye. Hinata, no! Naruto cried out. The two of us love you very much, she said, as she looked down at her stomach. Maybe we will meet you again, she said to him, as Naruto was clawing at the chains. Don't give up! Someone help me, he screamed out. As all of them stared blankly, as they didn't know how to help him. I love you, Naruto. I love you so much, Hinata said, as she was then sucked in, as she muttered her last words. We love you, as the Reaper vanished, taking Tsunade's soul as well. As Naruto collapsed to his knees, as everyone was silent. Naruto, Konan whispered, tears at the corner of her eyes, as she wiped her red puffy eyes. As Konan tried to reach forward, but Sasori held onto her arm. I don't think it's safe to talk to him right now, said Sasori. As Naruto remembered Hinata's last words, we love you. She did not die alone. His child died along with her. His family torn from him, his heart torn away. And for some reason, Tsunade was not dead. As she was on the ground, she was dying. As she coughed. Bring her back, said Naruto. Bring her back now, he screamed out. The deed is done. She's not coming back. You can't even use Edo Tensei to bring her back either. Her soul is sealed away beyond your grasp, said Tsunade. In the blink of an eye, Tsunade slammed against a stone wall as Naruto hit her hard. That one lick finished her off as her body collapsed to the ground. But he wasn't done there as he got on top of her and started to beat her down as he was punching even though she was dead, as he was breaking the ground underneath her with pure force from his fist. As Naruto kept hitting and hitting until he broke through bones as he was now punching the ground. As Konan then got free from Sasori as she rushed over, she wrapped her arms around Naruto. No, Naruto, don't, she said. I am here for you. It's fine. Please calm down, she begged. As Naruto then broke down, as Konan took him away, as she looked back, kill anyone who speak ill will of the Uzukage. He is stricken with grief, and he's not to be looked down by anyone, she said, as the captain nodded. By the end of the day, hundreds of villagers were cut down because of their ill words towards the Uzukage, while the intelligent people knew that they needed to keep their mouths shut as they just went silent. By the late afternoon of tomorrow, the rebuilding of Konoha and the rebuilding of the Uzumaki village will begin. Time skip. A few years later, the Uzu village was rebuilt. As children were playing and having fun, it was now night. As the older villagers was sitting, drinking and eating, remember all the sacrifices that everyone did to bring the village to this path. As stories were told about the leader of the village, who took on the Akatsuki and the Anfus, running through the village in his fox form, with his beautiful wife at his side. When the city was fully rebuilt, dozens had swarmed to the village, some from the hidden rain and some from the hidden sound, and they were all welcome. And the great Jashin temple was in the village as well. Every year, they mourn the death of Hinata Hyuga, the Uzukage's wife, as they had a large statue of the Hyuga clan symbol at the center of the village. Konoha was also now rebuilt as it was striving and supporting Uzu like it was always before, as they were all allies, the rain, the sun, Uzu and Konoha, as there was a Uzukage monument with Naruto's face carved on it. Despite his face being carved into the monument, few people had seen him, as there was rumors that he was not even alive anymore and someone was controlling the place. Moments later, Hanabi entered a large room as there was a massive table in the center, as it was time for their yearly meeting, as Konan was there and a few others. "Welcome, Lady Hokage," said Konan, as Hanabi bodyguards stepped out the door and closed it behind them. As Hanabi greeted them, "Shall we begin?" Sasori, the captain of the Uzumaki city guards, asked. Hanabi raised an eyebrow. "Will he not join us?" she asked. Karin rolled her eyes. "He sits in that dark tower of his. We barely see him." Konan sighed. "Only a select few have permission to see him. He has not left the palace since it was built. I worry for my nephew." Sasori shrugged. "He still mourned for her," said Sasori. It was then that Hidan belched. "Mourn for her? He always have his face down in books," Hidan said, as Konan gave him a glare, as he just went silent and started to drink again. Hanabi sipped her water. "Who has seen him as lately?" she asked. Konan then spoke. "Naruto likes to spend time with little Nagato. He lights up every time he sees him. I can't say that Nagato don't feel the same way. He loves his uncle a lot, you see." As she pointed over to the corner, as little Nagato was curled up in a ball as he was on the couch, as his red hair was covering his face. As Hanabi then moved his hair as she played with his small cheeks. "He's a cutie," she said. "Yeah, I know," said Konan as she giggled. "On to more serious matters," said Sasori. "The Raikage and the Tsukage are still fighting each other, and they are keeping a close eye on us, the both of them." "What of the Mizukage and the Kazekage?" asked Hanabi. "The Mizukage is wary of us. The swordsmen are still on our payroll. She know not to push her luck. And the Kazekage? Temari is still powerless. She know that we can sweep in at any moment and take her land. She may have Shikamaru as her tactician, but they just doesn't have enough to take on our 3 village." "So, we have nothing to fear from any of the villages?" Konan asked. "We are the ones that they fear. They know that they shouldn't poke the sleeping giant," said Hidan. Hanabi then switched the topic. "Do you think Naruto will see me?" Konan nodded. "You're her sister. I am sure he would want to see you," she said. "I would like to see him then," said Hanabi. "I will come with you as well," said Konan. "He has a few packages that he needs to receive." "Alright, meeting adjourned," said Hidan. A little while later, Hanabi and Konan were climbing the spiral stairs. The more they go up, the more darker it gets, as they arrived to a large door with the Uzumaki crest carved into it. As they knocked, but they didn't get any response. Konan sighed as she was expecting that, as they pushed open the door and entered. As Hanabi looked around, the place was filled with books all over. And also there were some strange scrolls on the ground. As they heard snoring as they saw Naruto sitting at his desk. as he was sleeping. As they looked above him on a shelf was a boot. It was a boot that fell off Hinata's feet when she was being sucked in by the Shinigami. Well, I guess we should come back later, said Hanabi. Yeah, I think you're right, said Conan. Hours later, Naruto woke up. As the place was dark, he snapped his finger and all of the candles around him light up. As Naruto caught a glance of himself in the mirror, his face was paled, his beard was wild. As he then looked over at the next journal, these were most of Orochimaru's research. As Naruto then found some information. Wait, could this be real? As the first word that he saw was Shinigami Mass. Rain Tensei fully revival. As Naruto then burst the door open as he called as his staff came in his hand. As he went off with the journal, as he went down the main hallway, as Conan saw him she froze. Naruto, are you okay? Conan asked. Never felt better, Naruto said, as he gave her a hug. I found her, he whispered. Before she could reply, he headed to the streets. As everyone was shocked to see the Uzukage, he, after so long, has taken a stroll in the streets. As Naruto arrived at Ichiraku Ramen, we had moved over here. As the old man saw him, is that 2 bowls of Ichiraku Ramen, old man? I'll be back, and I'll be bringing a date, said Naruto. As Amy looked at her father as Naruto went off. Is that Naruto? She said. As Naruto then dashed through the woods as he came out of the city. As a familiar voice then spoke in his mind. What are you doing, boy? Said Kurama. Getting her back, said Naruto, as he dashed into the woods. After a while, Naruto arrived at a shrine. After going through the journal, yes, this is the correct place, Naruto said. As Naruto then pulled a mask from his cloak, it was an old Shinigami mask. Naruto then pulled a scroll. As he placed it on the ground, he then dropped a small bit of his blood on it as the scroll poofed with black dust as a woman emerged coughing as he allowed her to catch her breath. How was the endless space and solitude, Shizune, said Naruto. Shizune was shaking as she looked at Naruto. Just kill me, she said. You will die soon enough. I am going to need your body, said Naruto. Naruto then placed the mask on his face as he felt the presence of the Shinigami. As Naruto removed a special dagger from his coat, as he stabbed himself in the stomach, as his blood dripped to the ground, the Shinigami then opened his stomach. As Naruto stepped forward, as he closed his eyes, as long as his blood dripped, he was able to enter the realm. As he searched for Hinata, as Naruto felt himself in a black empty void, as it was really hard to find what he was looking for. As he then finally found it, Hinata's life force floating about inside of the Shinigami. He then thrust his hand forward as he ripped out the life force, as it was floating in the air above him. As Naruto then placed his hand on his stomach and the wound healed. He then allowed the soul to go inside of Shizune's body. As Shizune's body started to shake, and she then dropped on the floor as her features had changed. She was now Hinata, but she was cold and pale, and she was definitely not alive. Naruto then slammed his hand together as he shouted, Renny Rebirth, as a green light formed between his hands, as he placed his hands on Hinata's body, as her entire body was engulfed by the green light. As Hinata's skin returned healthy and back to its original color, her eyes slowly opened as she had a confused look on her face. Naruto, she said, as everything clicked, as she quickly jumped on him, as she started to kiss him, as she cried out Naruto, as she then breathed the kiss. Idiot, she said, as she smacked him. Hinata, he said, look at you. You have grown up without me. Your hair is a mess. You have not shaved in months, and you're covered in blood. As a tear fell from Naruto's eye, as he grabbed her. I'm so happy you're back, he said. I love you, she said. I love you too, he said. And now I can spend the rest of my life with you. Without you, there was no living. She then placed her hand on her stomach as Naruto looked down. Yeah, we have someone else to spend our life with, she said. Little Baruto. Huh? Baruto? I was thinking more of Bolt or something like that, he said. As Hinata chuckled, well, we will talk about the name, she said, as the both of them shared another passionate kiss. But guys, this is where I end this, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this series from part 1 where I started. If you're new and this is the first time you're hearing of this, go over to the playlist and check it out, guys. And trust me, you will enjoy it. So thank you guys for all of your support and your help towards this series. And yeah, this will be the final time you hear me say, what if Naruto joined the Akatsuki? So thank all of you for your help and your support. But for now, I'm out. Peace.